We all get impatient, rushing for answers, chasing results. But what if the secret to true strength is hidden in the silence? Two boys were about to discover that lesson from a mysterious old man who had been waiting just for them. Once upon a time, long, long ago, there were two young boys who lived in a small village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river. Now, these two boys were best friends, spending their days exploring the nearby forest and their nights sharing stories around a crackling fire. One day, while wandering through the lush green trees, the boys stumbled upon a clearing bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. In the center sat an old man, his eyes closed in deep meditation. The boys, filled with youthful curiosity, approached the man and asked him, "Venerable sir, what brings you to this peaceful place?" The old man opened his eyes, his gaze twinkling with wisdom. "I am waiting," he said, "for a friend who has promised to visit me. Someone who understands the language of birds and the secrets of the wind." Intrigued by the man's words, the boys decided to return the next day. As the sun began its slow descent, they came back to the clearing only to find the old man sitting in the same spot. Again, he spoke to them. "My friend is still on his way. He is someone who can make stones dance and flowers sing." The boys, even more curious now, promised to wait with him until his friend arrived. Day after day, they returned to the clearing, but the old man's friend never came. After many weeks, one of the boys, unable to contain his impatience, broke the silence. "Venerable sir," he asked, "why do you continue to wait for someone who never arrives?" The old man turned to the boy, a gentle smile gracing his lips. "My friend has taught me a valuable lesson about patience," he said. "He visits only when I have learned to be patient. Since I have not yet mastered this virtue, he does not come." Then, turning to his other student, he added, "And you, my boy, what would you do to make your friend return?" The second boy pondered for a moment. "I would send someone to find him," he replied. "I would bring him here myself." The old man nodded approvingly. "That, my son, is a practical solution. But sometimes the most important thing is to simply wait, to be patient, and let things unfold naturally." Just then, a butterfly fluttered past them, and the old man continued, "Do you not see that everything in nature follows its own rhythm? The seasons change, the rivers flow, and the birds sing their songs. All things come into being and pass away in their own time. Even my friend will arrive when it is time for him to do so." The first boy, however, could not understand why the old man did not take action to bring his friend back. So he asked again, "But how can you be sure that he will ever return? Why don't you try to find him or send someone else to look for him?" The old man looked at the boy, his expression filled with compassion. "My son," he said, "you have been impatient for so long that you have forgotten the most important lesson of all, the art of letting go. By trying to control everything, you only cause yourself unnecessary worry and stress. Sometimes the best thing to do is to relax, to surrender to the natural order of things and trust that everything will work out for the best." The first boy thought about the old man's words, realizing that he had been impatient not only with others, but also with himself. He had tried so hard to force things to happen on his own terms that he had forgotten to appreciate the beauty of the present moment. At that time, the old man stood up, his body swaying gently in the breeze. "Come," he said, "let us walk in silence for a while." The two boys followed him deeper into the forest, where the trees stood tall and proud, their branches forming a canopy overhead. As they walked, the old man pointed to a small patch of mushrooms growing at the base of a tree. "Look," he said, "even the smallest things in nature grow at their own pace. These mushrooms may seem insignificant, but they are an important part of the forest ecosystem. Just as the mushrooms need time to grow, so too do you. You cannot rush the process of life. You must be patient and let things unfold in their own time." The first boy looked at the mushrooms, realizing that he had been so focused on his own desires that he had forgotten to appreciate the simple wonders of nature that surrounded him. He had been so caught up in trying to control everything that he had lost the ability to relax and enjoy the present moment. After walking for a while longer, they came to a babbling brook, its waters sparkling in the sunlight. The old man sat down on a nearby stone and said, "Listen to the sound of the flowing water. Can you hear it?" The two boys closed their eyes and listened intently. "What do you hear?" the old man asked. "I hear the sound of rushing water," said the first boy. "And what do you hear?" asked the old man, turning to the other boy. "I hear the sound of flowing water," he replied. "That is correct," said the old man. "But listen more closely. What do you truly hear?" The boy hesitated for a moment, then he said softly, "I hear the sound of water running over pebbles, of leaves rustling in the wind, of birds singing in the trees." "That," said the old man, "is the sound of nature, the sound of life. It is the sound of things unfolding in their own time. When you learn to listen to the music of nature, you will learn the art of patience." The first boy opened his eyes and looked around him. He realized that he had been so focused on his own thoughts and desires that he had failed to appreciate the beauty and harmony of the natural world. He had been so preoccupied with his own problems that he had forgotten to listen to the wisdom of the ages. As the sun began to set, the old man stood up and said it was time for him to meditate. He invited the boys to sit quietly beside him and watch the colors of the sky as the day drew to a close. And as they sat there in silence, the first boy felt a sense of peace and tranquility wash over him. He had learned that day that patience was not just about waiting, it was about appreciating the present moment, listening to the music of nature, and trusting in the natural order of things. From that day forward, he made every effort to live a life of patience and understanding. He knew that by doing so, he would not only bring happiness to himself, but also to those around him.